Got a bear claw. Got a little bear claw
Love
action. You want to hear Jeremy Rauch from
let's hear this.
Fox 19 Cincinnati, one of the beat reporters for the Bengals, who was here watching the joint practice yesterday in the rain. Take a listen.
Hey, everyone. Thought today's practice needed some context. I know there's a lot of concern from some fans back in Cincinnati, kind of seeing the tweets of everything that played out today in practice for the Bengals. My one big takeaway from practice today is probably an obvious one, but I felt like some context was needed. So I'll just throw this out there. Today was the first day that it really looked like, my goodness, Joe Burrow needs Jamar Chase. Today in the rain, when he wasn't thrown to T. Higgins, ball was tipped, it was overthrown, it was behind a receiver, he had 3 interceptions. It just looked like Joe Burrow wasn't comfortable. This offense does not go without Jamar Chase on the field, especially against the Chicago defense, who I thought was pretty darn impressive. So that's a big takeaway from today's practice. As for the defense, and I'm guessing there's no Bears fans on here, I could not have been more impressed with how Caleb Williams looked. And you look at his receiving core and you're reminded of who they could be this year with Rome Odunze, the rookie, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. Keenan Allen and DJ Moore gave the Bengals DBs trouble all day long. It just, to me, looked like the Bears offense was better than the Bengals defense in a lot of ways. Now, the Bengals defense wasn't able to slow them down with what they wanted to do. So 2 big takeaways. Felt like the Bears won the day.
Good to hear. And Caleb bouncing back from an early interception. Sounds like he really stood out in the back half of practice yesterday.
A couple of things that I liked from the report is that this guy, I don't really know him, so I don't know the reporting history, but it would appear to me as he's not much of a hot take artist. He's just giving you what he saw at practice.
Yes.
Breaking down Burrow needs help, all of this stuff, which when I was listening to this, it made me happy that the Bears defense seems to be legit.
Jalen
Absolutely
Johnson,
legit.
Yeah.
That's
Jalen's
secondary, causing issues for one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And he also mentioned tip passes, all kinds of stuff. That's fantastic. But he's covering one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And at the same time, pointing to how impressive Caleb Williams as a rookie is with this Bears offense and the weapons they have. I heard that yesterday. I saw it online and I was like, whoa. Because what was interesting is Mark Potash was on with Waddle and Sylvie.
I heard
2 days ago. Did you?
He was on yesterday a little bit.
Was it yesterday? Maybe the days are bleeding together.
In the last half hour of the show.
Okay, that's what I was listening to.
Yes.
Did you hear the same thing I heard where Potsy was pointing to they have a special quarterback?
Yes.
The Bears have a special quarterback.
Yes.
Potsy's usually
very measured, right?
Yes. Yeah, he's not interested in the hot takes or being over the top with promoting something that isn't really there. When I heard Potsy kind of point out, the Bears have a special quarterback here in Caleb Williams, my ears perked up and I was like, oh, that's a money clip.
Well, even Jurko yesterday saying, and I was off the early portion of the week, so I wanted a chance, and I know it was late because this happened Saturday, but I wanted a chance to bust his balls a little because it really was something. I'm driving around Saturday listening to the end of the game and then into the post game, and B-, C+, and I was like, what was he watching? But what Jurko did say yesterday, I think this was his total natural reaction to it. He goes, "You want to know what I learned? That they made the right choice." That Jurko already feels like he can go out and say that after watching 2 drives. These people are seeing something. People with trained eyes are seeing the something, I think, that we all heard about. That, this is going to work. I'm telling you, Chris, if this doesn't, I swear.
Well, okay, so
I might give up. I don't know why. As a Bears fan, I might just be like, I don't know. If this doesn't work,
you'll be here. You're still a White Sox fan. Yeah, right. You've got the White Sox. But they're trying to kill you slowly, but you're still here.
This quarterback thing with this franchise, if you tell me this time around, this doesn't work, it seems like the stars have finally aligned. And if this doesn't work, I'm tapping out. I don't get it. So when you say, boy, is this happening? Is he special? I think he's got the ability to be special. Yes, I think he's going to be special.
After watching the game on Saturday, my thought was this. With 2 series in the books, that's it. We've only seen him in a Bears uniform for 2 full series. I can guarantee you he will not be a bust. I don't know how much he'll accomplish in his career or how great he'll be. If you want to talk about Hall of Fame, if you want to talk about best quarterback in the league, I don't know about that. I can guarantee you right now, he will not be a bust. He will be a quarterback that gets a second contract. He will be a starter in the league for at least 8 to 10 years, barring injury. From watching 2 series, that's what he is. I don't know how great he's going to be.
Yeah.
It's the ride of a lifetime that we all get to go on if he actually becomes something. But I can guarantee you he won't be Trubisky. No, he's not Justin Fields. Yeah. He's not Zach Wilson. Yeah. He is not those players that we've seen. They're players who have busted out.
Like high picks that were
through 2 or 3 years where we know absolutely that guy can't play at the next level. And I think that's why yesterday is important and what we see tomorrow is important because he's going head-to-head with another quarterback who has proven it on both levels, college and pro. And quite honestly, Joe Burrow had a better college career than Caleb Williams did, but Caleb came pretty close. He just didn't win the national title. And people who are not paid by the Bears, who are not covering this team every day, are looking at that and going, damn, he's good.
Yeah.
Like that to me is what is surprising out of the joint practice yesterday is we never got that with the other guys. You know, you're talking about the history of Bears football. Yeah. When in the history of Bears football has one of our quarterbacks been on the field with a top 3 quarterback in the league? And he's been the one that people have raved about.
Yeah.
That has never happened in our lives. The closest we've ever had was maybe Cutler had a game or two against Rodgers.
I would say Cutler had some
game
games
or two against Rodgers.
A game against Stafford and Detroit. Like every once in a while, Jay would pop one of those games. You're like, man, like holy cow.
Cutler occasionally.
Yes.
No offense to Jim Miller. It never happened with Jim Miller. Never happened with Rex Grossman. Never happened with anyone previously.
No.
Never, even McMahon. No. McMahon was never in the class of Marino or Montana or the others. You know what I'm saying? So like that to me was what perked up my ears was listening to Potash yesterday rave about him.
Yeah.
And then seeing the reporter from Cincinnati be like, they've got a hell of a quarterback over there. You follow Joe Burrow daily. I'm impressed.
It is very encouraging. And then on the other side, you heard that reporter talk about the struggles there without Jamar Chase. And I think that is pretty obvious, and it sounds like it was evident. Like, we all know how good. I heard you and Adam talking about it last night. Like, they need Jamar Chase on the field. I mean, that's going to make a big difference. Yeah. My guess is push is going to come to shove here, and it's going to be time to play football, and Jamar Chase will be on the field for them when it matters. This holdout's not going to go on forever. They're going to look better with Jamar Chase. There's no doubt. But I wasn't at any of the early practices when Montez Sweat was dominating. And then the 3 that we did see, Montez, after that first one was banged up and he didn't practice the last 2. Clearly, and I hope I expressed this, I feel like I did when we were live at training camp. Clearly, the best player that I saw up there was Jalen Johnson. Clearly. Jalen Johnson looks fantastic. He had a great year last year. He got paid. He doesn't look like he's resting on his laurels. So awesome. He should look fantastic in camp. He's an elite level player when he's at his best. So I'm not probably telling you anything you don't know or that anything that's going to surprise any of us. Sounds like he was awesome yesterday. And from what I saw when I was up there, he was clearly the best Bear player was Jalen Johnson.
No, it's good information to hear. We're all relying on you and Sylvie and Courtney and Waddle and Jurko, who are up there. Pat, the designer, has been up there as well throughout camp to relay this information. And I've heard you say it. I've also heard you and Sylvie talk about the conversation that it's clear that the 2 best players on the team are the 2 hardest working players, which sets the tone because, like, think back to great teams. It's always those who are the best leading the team to where that team gets to at the end. And if it's DJ Moore and Jalen Johnson, who are the 2 best players, but they're also there every day, they're accountable, and they're working hard. That's something that I've heard you guys all say.
Amen.
And it seems to really have this team amping up for the regular season. It seems like everyone's ready to go. Kevin Byard yesterday talked about it. He's ready to play. Like that. It feels like a different training camp.
It does. It feels
like they want to go out and accomplish something this year and not just see what we have when we get to the first game.
I mean, I wasn't expecting that performance in week 1 last year, so maybe but I would be stunned if they laid a dud like that in the opener. After just the vibe and the feel, I'd be stunned. Now, again, if you went back to last August, I don't.
There was a lot of hype last August.
There was, and I don't think I could have predicted. We didn't like the way training camp was going. I will say that. I mean, Jurko and Waddle especially, and they're, and I didn't like the way they handled the preseason. So, but I don't think at any point I felt like they were going to go out and lay an egg against Green Bay, and they totally did. I would be stunned if they were that crappy in the opener this year, just because of the overall feel of things and the vibe right now.
Just think about the reports that we got yesterday of a Bears defense kicking ass against Joe Burrow. If you go out week 1 against Will Levis
I know, right?
And don't look good, like that would be a major problem. And it's something that I'm not expecting.
I'm not.
Right?
Either.
Like you have Will Levis.
Yeah.
I mean, it should set up
with
as
a rookie
good
head
day.
coach. Like this should be like, it should set up as a good day. Is right. Speaking of guys that work hard, and then the opposite of that, I want to play some Nate Davis sound coming up. 312-332-3776 is the number if you want to ring us up. Chris is in for Jurko. It's Carmen and Jurko. We'll be right back.